Right then, guys. No time for an intro, so I've been faffing about too much. Just had the all in and I'm not quite ready yet, even though I've had loads of time. All I've set up is one rig and a pellet whack, but I've been faffing about a lot. So we're here at Shiplate today on the main lake. I've been invited to come along with a club, a group of guys from a club who just had a little knock up. And this is the first put in. So what I have set up, trying to sort out now, is just one meat rig. This meat rig, I'm going to fish it short for half an hour, 20 minutes, see if we catch anything. We catch a nice early lump on it. We'll put 6mm meat in the pot. 6mm meat. Put 5 or 6 grains of 6mm meat in the pot. I've got the same rig for in the size I have out long, because it's only a float's length different, so I've just marked it on my top kit so I can just move it when I go out. I might have to black the tip out of the... I might have to black the pole tip out when I... the pole float tip out when I go out there long, because it's yellow and I'm going to fish into the white. But I can do that quickly. I've got some gear for doing that. So what we're doing, we're on the Shiplate on peg 6 main lake. Got 6 hours. It was absolutely freezing this morning. I just scraped ice off the car. We've just come out the back of a mild spell, and then had a mild spell, and now we're having a cold snap. It's the 2nd of April today, so you know what the weather's been like. We sort of had a lovely spell and places were starting to fish, and then all of a sudden it's just stopped happening. So I've got like a tiny little slope there in front of me. I'm just bringing that float right back under, right on the spot where it is. It's only just touching bottom there. I've got the shot's just strung out. I'm just going to sit and wait. I'm going to give it sort of 10 or 15 minutes. Tap a couple of bits of meat in between put-ins and just drop it down, and I'm hoping there might be a lump sitting short. It's a bit of a long shot for the time of year, I'm totally honest, but I don't think it's going to be a bigger weight affair as people might think. I think £70 carp and a few silvers might be enough to do the damage today, so I'm hoping that on this meat I can catch carp and silvers. Right guys, we're 38 minutes in. I've just hooked this one on the long meat line. The same rig as I was fishing short with, but I've had to come off it because I couldn't catch short. I've been out long for about 10 or 15 minutes. I was thinking this is not going to happen. I keep topping 2 or 3 bits in and going back out over it. And I've got one, it's definitely a carp. Nice big fish by the feel of it. It's not a slow plodder. It's usually the sign of a big fish. Take a time with him because he's the first one. You're always going to try to get the first one if you can. Quite a weighty fish because I can't get him up. Can't get his head up. Nice little, nicely scaled mirror carp that is. How's it going? That's a small one for in here. Very nicely. And look at that, only just nicked him just at there. So they could have pulled out at any time, that fish. I'll just see what he weighs so we get a good click for him. 6 pounder he is. We've got the right way on today because I'm out of practice with these carp. Not been doing a lot of carp fishing. For a few months. So it's, you know, you have to get your eye back in for judging the weight. See, 4 little bits of meat we're going to go out with. That's all we're going to go out with. See if we can nick another one. That was a steady start. A few people have had one fish. Nick opposite me, she's had one on the tip. Guy to my left in the corner, he's got the left hand lake to himself there. He's had one on the pole. And I think there might have been another come out. Down to my right on some of the flyer pegs down there. But not peg one on, might be peg one, so that's like the peg. But other than that, there's not a lot happening, so as you can see, I'm being very careful. I'm only feeding small amounts, so I'm taking my time getting out there, making sure that the small amount that I do feed just right on the spot. Ducks just nearly took me pole out there. That's it, tapped in me 3 bits. Just laying the rig in so it gently drops through the water. It's shotted to drop through the water slowly because I'm expecting to catch carp and skimmers and all sorts on this. The wind's getting up from time to time, making it hard for me to hold the pole at 16. But that's a risk you take when you fish at 16. Sometimes the wind gets up and you can't fish it. We'll take that as one bite, one hooked, one landed. We're 45 minutes in. Didn't have any indication short at all. Which is interesting, but I weren't expecting it. It's been too cold. But it was always worth a try because, you know, it could be a big bonus fish on them short lines if they're there. This wind is now getting up and causing me grief. It's absolutely like a mirror when I set this rig up. This whole lake was so calm. I mean, there's hardly any wind really, but this place is so exposed. It's a side wind, it's dead square to me at the moment, so that's the worst that you want really. Worst kind of wind you can have really, because it's going to put the maximum amount of bend in your pole. Right cock on where the feed's gone in there. It's blacked out the tip of the pole and it has made it tip of the pole, tip of the float. It was a yellow float that I set up. And there's a little indication there, then it's just made it a little bit easier to see. Oh my god, something cracked then. It went crunch then on the pole. We've hooked another one. Might be a skimmer this one. I wasn't happy with that noise that pole made then. Maybe it was just A bit loose and rattly in there. I think it could be a small carp or a skimmer, a nice skimmer. Nice size skimmer that is. Almost like a hybrid he looks. Hybridy. Good fight. It's probably a good fight on this elastic. This is 13 elastic and he's got, yeah, it's a hybrid. Look at that for a hybrid. What's that, mate? Hybrid that is. I've had a carp as well. Yeah. You're starting to come in on that meat line there. 2 hours in. Just had another skimmer, which is the only other fish I've had other than the 2 that you've seen. I put a little bit more bait in through the. I put a little bit more meat in through the big pot, and then I chucked a pellet rag around a bit because I fouled up a couple of carp shallow, really shallow. They're like a foot deep. And I thought maybe they were there shallow, but it just don't seem to be working like that. So I've gone back over where I fed a bit more heavily, sort of put sort of 30-40 bits of meat in instead of 2s and 3s. And I've had a skimmer. Getting indications out there, so I don't know if there's a lot of skimmers out there or just this range. It's very difficult to strike a little indications because you can't really see them, but you kind of get little moves and dips on the float every now and again, so I'll start lifting into a few of them and just see if I can hit something. See if there's a few more skimmers there. I'm not going to strike hard because I don't want to strike my meat off. But yeah, you put a run of skimmers together at the moment. I feel like anything you're putting in your bag is going to do you good because there's not a lot coming out. A couple of people are having odd fish and that's it. Just got to sit out until these carp start feeding. If they start feeding on this longer line, I might catch a few of them. This wind, it's going to be difficult to ping meat at 16 metres. There we are, nice little bite there. That's another skimmer, I think. These skimmers are just about big enough to get this elastic out. I've got quite I've got a Kaizen hook on, so it's not like it's going to rip out too easy as long as the hook holds in them nicely. I'll just keep taking these for a bit. Now we've put a bit of bait on the bottom, it's definitely helped. Just keep taking odd fish while we can. Nearly 2 o'clock. We've got our 3rd carp on. Whether we're going to get it out, I don't know. I think it's our 3rd carp anyway, unless it's a foul up skimmer or something. We've had a few skimmers now, this line, probably getting on for 10. Somewhere near that region. Just started to get a few more fish now on this line. You know, that's what I say, on 2 o'clock we fish until 4. So, 2 o'clock we'll fish until 4. So we've got 2 hours yet, so if it keeps on going like this, we're going to end up finishing quite strongly, but so what's going on? This is fighting ever so strangely. It's a heavy fish. I suspect it's a big carp. Hoping it's a big carp. Oh yeah, it's a big boy. It's much bigger than the last 2. he's hooked just outside the mouth. White tail there. And it's still cold, this water, because this fish is just wallowing in. Not going absolutely crazy like these fish can do. Common this is, I don't want to lose this one now after all this time. I'm not sure if it was hooked inside the mouth or just outside the mouth. It's definitely hooked right by its mouth. So got some level of control over it, but take my time because there's no point rushing this. If not, we only carp again. He's in. He is in. And he was foul hooked in the fin. I thought he was foul hooked in the mouth, but he's foul hooked in the fin. He's showing 10 on my. I'm on the right way, he's showing 10. So that puts us on £20, I can't stand up a second because no blood flow in my legs. Well, I'll take that. Well, obviously I can't down there feeding on those bits of meat. Top it back up and we'll get back out there. So just before I put the camera on to show you that fish, I thought I'd put the camera on when I hooked him. I've just had a run of 2 or 3 skimmers and I noticed some bubbles, some sort of fizzing from skimmers, but just off where I'd fed, like half a metre to the right of where I'd fed. And I thought, I wonder if some of these skimmers are just sitting off the feed a little bit. So I put the rig in there and it just went under a couple of times in a row straight away. And I went out for the 3rd time, it didn't happen, so I went back over the feed and I hooked that carp. So I wonder if that carp had been there and he just pushed them off the feed a little bit. And so they're sort of backed away, let him have the feed for a minute. He's probably stirring it all up and spreading it around as well. Just can't like that in the swim. So the bait will be spread over a wider area than you probably believe was possible. Just because of those better fish. I'm going to try out just off the feed again now whilst I've got the camera running. So I've fed where I've been always feeding, but I'm actually fishing, I'd say, about half a metre to the right of where I've been feeding. Just to see. If there's any fish there now. And then if I don't catch one, I'll go back over the feed and see what happens. I weren't sure whether or not, perhaps there's a little bit of undertow that I hadn't realised, and that was dragging the bait to the right, and the vast majority of the bait to the right throughout the day, and that's why there was a few fish sitting there. Maybe that's where the feed's actually settling on the bottom. That's my first thought. And then when I went back over the feed and knocked that carp, then he wasn't really feeding. I've looked him in the fin, so he could have just been a passing fish. It's hard to know whether he was actually feeding or whether he's just a fish that was passing. He swam into the line. Don't know. So hard to work out what's going on sometimes. They're off the feed again, look. I don't know. Or is it on the feed? You just think it's off the feed. But it can't, I mean, it's no wind at all now. I can't believe it's towing. This is pulling a bit too much to be a skimmer. So this is another carp which is pulling rather hard. Pulling very hard at the moment. Woken up this fish has. See if he can, now he's straight out in front of us, see if he can get some pull back. Perhaps before he gets an angle on this and get his top kit off. That's what we want. Gets this top kit. We can play, and the beauty with this hybrid elastic is so stretchy. If you can get it off, you can get that off the pole, and you don't run the risk of breaking the pole with powerful fish running around all over the shop. Another big lump. This one's hooked in the pile. Another big common. So 2 puts, literally 2 puts in a row. If I get this fish out, that'll be £20 in the bag and 2 puts. Out of nowhere. It's doubled our weight, more than doubled our weight. For the whole match, I mean, he's really moving some water. This boy, this is much more lively than the last one. The last one waddled in, like there's no problem. Sorry about the swearing at the birds. Even bigger this one is. Right, got it. Hour to go. I've had a quiet hour really. Just had a skimmer. Now I've just hooked this, which I think is a carp or something decent that's keeping itself down. I don't think it's so low. It might be a small carp. It's just kept its head down all the way back, not really fought, but sometimes that's what the big uns do. So I'll just get the net ready in case he comes up and he's huge. We can scoop him quickly. Right, now you know what's been happening. I've been sort of feeding, the feed ticking in, and had 2 carp and 2 puts, which you saw pretty much. And then there's another couple of skimmers after that. I've turned you off and then it's just gone quiet. Just come back. This is an absolute hippo. Right unit on here. Yeah, so this could be bigger than anything I've had all day so far. Oh, it won't go in the net, is that big? There we are. Is it? Oh, what a unit that is! Another double. On 12. Because it's 20 minutes since it's 20 past 2. Have a fish, nice fish on here. I'm not sure what it is. It's fighting funny. Could be an eel, or it could be something hooked. He's an eel. Got an eel, yeah. Thought it was an eel. I thought if I looked a carp in the tail, it's an eel. Its head's shaking. Big eel, big eel. Thought it was funny the way it went off. On the luncheon meat. Oh, they're a nightmare to get in there. Net these things. But yeah. Eel, Mike. Eel. Yeah. That's 2 eels in a fortnight. I had one at the Sedges last week. They're waking up. Oh, there we go. I was about to say it's nearly all out, and then as I say it, Mike's just shouted it. So I don't know how I've done. I've got probably £50, including my silvers. Whether that's how that's done in the match as a. You know, mate. So I don't know how that's done in the match, but we'll find out.